Scripttuber here with another video. I'm shocked to have seen this report yesterday. And so I felt like I needed to talk about this, like, what is going on? The headline is Leslye Headland planned for 3 seasons and a movie. Talk about, like, skipping over some steps here. Okay, so the Star Wars universe just can't seem to win lately. Perhaps the greatest example of modern Lucasfilm shortcomings can be found in the story of the Acolyte, the controversial Star Wars High Republic Disney Plus series by Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslye Headland. I love how that has to get mentioned. The other thing I want to say, too, is, you know, there's this, like, whole thing about, they didn't like it because there's gays in it and stuff. Like, you hear that from Star Wars Explained. They did a whole video about how, like, people didn't like the show because a lesbian made it. None of those people ever talk about the fact that she was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. All through the Me Too movement, she kind of got a pass. Does she get a pass because she's a lesbian? I don't think she should. That doesn't make any sense. Nobody should, no matter who you are and what you do. So I find that very strange that the accusation against somebody like me or somebody that is critical of this terrible show is that, it's because you're a bigot and because she's lesbian. And they never mention that she was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. Doesn't seem to bother them. They're just like, yeah, cool. Harvey Weinstein, woo! Like, casting couch, represent. Like, it's just they're so stupid. The series was canceled after a single season, but one of its stars let slip that Headland had ambitious plans for her creation that included 3 whole seasons and a movie. Can you imagine 3 seasons of this? Honestly, I kind of want them to do it. Blow another 300 mil, blow another 600 mil for 2 seasons, and then blow another $1 billion on 2 more seasons in a movie. Please do it, Disney. That would be awesome. Recently, Manny Jacinto, known for his role as Camille in The Acolyte, shed light on Headland's original vision for the show during a panel at Fan Expo. So, I remember Leslie's dream for us was to do 3 seasons, not just 1. You know, and what's funny about that, too, is Leslye Headland in an interview said, before the show came out, that, season 1 ends, there's a lot of finality to it. I'm paraphrasing, but, it's not like it leaves you hanging. And then she did the complete opposite. And you had Yoda in there and Plagueis in there and no finality at all. She's so full of crap. Anyways, Jacinto said, but there's something about having a finite ending to things that makes it so much more special. So yeah, I don't know if I do it or not, but 3 seasons in a movie would have been incredible. And I know we had so much more to explore with that second season. It's a crappy show. It sucks. I don't get it. How could she possibly think this? How did Disney allow this? The fact that this got greenlit still blows my mind. And again, it was greenlit by people like Filoni, people like Kathleen Kennedy. So, guys, these people are all poopty. Headland's creative direction aimed to delve deeper into the Star Wars lore. The bastardization of the lore, you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Deeper into the lore. You've destroyed the lore. You wrecked Yoda. What are you talking about? Now the Jedi are lying pieces of crap. Like, what are you talking about? The lore. With Jacinto hinting at significant plot developments that remained unexplored due to the show's cancellation. Specifically, he addressed the brief appearance of Darth Plagueis in the final episode, suggesting potential connections and future storylines that could have been explored in subsequent seasons. Yeah, and all Camille was basically stealing Darth Venomous, basically, from a character perspective. She just stole Darth Venomous, changed his name, made him into this guy, and that was pretty much, that's all they ever do, is just steal from the EU. We definitely wanted to explore it. Jacinto continued, there was definitely going to be more of Plagueis in the second, or if not the third seasons of the show, but I just can't say because, we could come back. I don't want to spoil anything or give anything false hope, but I would just say there was a lot more to explore for sure. Despite Headland's... Would any of you want that? Like, I mean, I do in a way, right? I think we all do in like a let's make fun of it kind of way. And as Disney's circling the bowl here, if you had, say, another Acolyte season, say, next year, that would just help bury it further so that hopefully maybe someday they'll get rid of it and sell it and somebody who's competent could take over. Despite Headland's ambitious plans, the Acolyte faced significant financial and viewership challenges. Yeah, we already know that. $230 million to produce. These substantial costs were not matched by viewership numbers, which fell significantly short of expectations. The finale viewership was recorded at 41% below that of Ahsoka and 50% lower than Andor, both of which were already considered commercial disappointments. Oh, they are. They didn't have good ratings. To be that much lower than them, the Acolyte is so poorly received. It was so poorly received. And there's so many reasons. And the whole DEI thing that they brought in and marketed it on that, I don't think people care. I think culturally, we don't just think something's cool because of, the letter thing. That doesn't just make someone cool or interesting. Right? It's like when those TikTokers come out with these videos and their pronouns and stuff. It's like, you're not interesting just because you do whatever it is you do in your personal life and have these different pronouns. That doesn't make you an interesting person. It doesn't make you more able or capable than others. It doesn't make a character in a show more interesting. Oh my gosh, look! There's two moms! Ooh! It's like, that doesn't make it interesting. It doesn't. They were the most boring couple. The show was boring. The witches were cringy. And for the most part, quite boring. So, they think that these traits or these lifestyles just automatically produce interest. It's like, no, just because you're into that doesn't make you interesting. It doesn't. It still can be very boring. Just like anybody else. Anything can be boring. So personally, I think the whole marketing the show the way that they did, saying they had the most of these and thems and all this stuff, I think people were just like, dude, that's not what we care about. This is boring. That's not interesting to us. I guess it's interesting to them, the people in the show that are those things, because that's super important to them. But for the viewing public, it's like, dude, we just want a good show. You're not interesting just because of that stuff. In the wake of the cancellation, cast members voiced their frustrations, attributing the show's demise to factors beyond financial constraints. Jodie Turner-Smith, who portrayed Mother Anastasia, criticized Disney for what she described as a lack of support against racist backlash. Yeah, we already remember this. There was no receipts of racism. I saw some borderline comments on Amanda Stenberg's Instagram. But a lot of that was attributed to the fact that they marketed it as, hey, look at us, we're minorities, or we're this, or we're that. And so then you're mad that people are talking about that. That's literally how you marketed the show. If you're going to market the show that way, you can't expect people not to talk about that. Right? It's like anything. If you're going to run on that type of a rhetoric, then people are going to talk about it. So yeah, there was a few statements that probably they were ill-advised, but there was nothing blatantly just racist that I saw, and they didn't prove it, and they didn't show the receipts. Turner-Smith emphasized the need for Disney to take a stand, suggesting that doing so could leverage the significant buying power of people of color to influence the company's stance on social issues. That's what they've been doing, though. Where have you been, Jodie? That's what they've been doing. They've been trying to influence social issues, but nobody wants them to. We want entertainment. I don't pay to get lectured, Jodie. I'm not paying you money. I'm not paying money to have you or anybody else, some stranger, tell me how to think. I just want entertainment. I don't understand how this is hard to understand. If you want to go and be an advocate, there are a myriad of organizations you can get involved in. Some of them very powerful, actually, and have a lot of political clout as well, as we all well know. Doing it with a Disney Star Wars show is not the answer. Go do it on your own time somewhere else. I don't want to get paid to be lectured by you. And if you don't understand that, and the idea that they need to do more, that's all they've been doing. They're finally stopping doing it now, it looks like. They took out the trans storyline in one of the episodes of some kids cartoon coming out. Kids cartoon, yeah. So they've been doing that, and it's a failure because, again, we don't want that. And then what's the other one? Could leverage the significant buying power of people of color. What are you talking about? They have been riddling Marvel and Star Wars and everything else at Disney with minorities and black people. They have literally race swapped so many gingers with black people at this point over the last 10 years. Like, the list is insane. Like, you look it up. What are you talking about? What more should they do, Jody? What more can they possibly do? Explain that to me. And this is where these people are so out of touch. They've been doing that, and it hasn't worked. Because guess what? Minorities, the buying power of people of color doesn't come from their desire to just constantly see people of color either. They don't care what the people are. They just want good stories. They want things to make sense. And yes, even they want things to stay true. None of my black friends want to see ginger characters reworked into token black people. They want black characters written and done things with. That's why Black Panther was so successful. Because it was based on Black Panther, so that's what it's based on. When you just change something for the sake of changing it, minorities don't like that either. They're like, oh, that's pure tokenism. No, thanks. Why don't you just write a proper black character? April O'Neil. They don't want that. Nobody wants that. On and on, you can go on and on and on. Jodie, and again, Jodie sounds dumb because I think she probably is dumb. And all these people that are involved in these projects and Lucasfilm are dumb. There's just a constant churning out of dumbness and dumb people. And that is what happens when you have a Hollywood that is based purely on nepotism. Purely on nepotism. I mean, it's always been based on nepotism, but not purely. There was always newcomers. There was always talent going around, mixed in with the nepotism. And actually, I would argue if you had a nepo baby get in there, they were also involved with really competent people, so their nepo babiness didn't shine through and didn't wreck the project or show how crappy they were. But now, just about everybody's nepo now. So I'm talking from executives on down. It's all just buddies of buddies who are all incompetent and dumb. And so this is the dumbness. These are the dumb comments you make because you're dumb because everyone around you is dumb and you have nobody with a brain who's trying to hold things back. It's just stupidness everywhere. Of course, Disney does have a history of standing behind its actors, specifically in the Star Wars franchise when perceived racism occurs. An entire movement rose up around Moses Ingram in the lead up to the release of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Over reports of racist backlash. And yes, apparently there was a few stupid idiots. And you're never going to, like I've said before, you're never going to get rid of those guys. So focusing on those 5 comments and making that your be-all, end-all of your life. Get a life. There's always going to be a handful of idiots. It's just the way it is. Suck it up, princess. People make fun of people. If some anonymous person calls me, I don't care how bad the name calling is. I don't even care. You call me the worst thing in the world. You're just some anonymous dude on social media. I don't care. I do not care. And these people, you know, there's an old saying, maturity is going from a soft skin and a hard heart to tough skin and a soft heart. And all these people seem to have really thin skin. And they can't just get over themselves. Get over yourself. Who cares? It's just immature. Turner Smith seems to have a history of trouble accurately recalling the past when it comes to Star Wars. She famously cited a lack of female leaders in the Star Wars universe, referring to it as patriarchal when interviewed at Star Wars Celebration prior to the release of The Acolyte. Yeah, and that's what you should do. Before your show comes out, tell everybody that the Star Wars universe is patriarchal. Lecture us. Tell us that we should reject the old Star Wars because it's patriarchal, and then gobble up your slop. That's essentially what she's saying there. Star Wars is patriarchal, and we're going to change it into this weird crap that has nothing to do with Star Wars. And if you don't like that, You're a bigot. Well, then I guess I'm a bigot, Jody. Many believe she made a valid point. Many? Where were they in the viewership? I didn't see many. As long as one made a valid point. As long as one overlooks Leia, Padme, Amidala, Mon Mothma, Hera Syndulla, Admiral Holdo, and just about every other leader from the Star Wars universe who isn't named Yoda or Palpatine. And Holdo was just there to be there. Like they and then they tried to make her heroic at the end with the stupid Holdo maneuver that wrecks space battles forever now. And they made her like the classic just raging feminist, which we don't want to see that in Star Wars, dude. Just don't. Like, sorry. Princess Leia is probably the strongest woman in this list. Padme number 2. Neither of them are just like lecturing people and acting like idiots. Everything they did, yeah, they got mad and stuff, but they were very logical. What Holdo and Leia do to Poe is illogical. It's dumb. It's just doing it because he's a man, not because there's a logical explanation behind it. Rejecting what he's saying because he's a man. We're going to stun him because he's a man. We're not going to tell him the plan because he's a man. That's illogical and dumb. That's like teenage level bullcrap. That's why people don't like it. It has nothing to do with body parts, you idiots. Amanda Stenberg, the star of The Acolyte, known for playing 2 characters with one facial expression, blamed the show's cancellation on vitriol and hyper-conservative backlash from certain segments. Certain segments? It sounds like it's like 95% Amanda. And if that's what it is, you're not going to change it by lecturing them and telling them they're dumb and bad. This whole strategy... Just stick to writing Star Wars stories and stop worrying about changing Earth things with your entertainment. Nobody wants that. Again, go join an organization that does advocacy. Don't put it into entertainment. It's a stupid mistake. Of course, I live in the bubble of my own reality, she says. Yes, thank you. You do. But for those who aren't aware that there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it. I don't remember that. The only thing I remember was people being like, why did they hire Harvey Weinstein's assistant right after the Me Too movement to do a Star Wars show when the company's run by a woman? Why are you doing that? That was what people were saying. Literally, that was all people were saying. No one cares that you're black, Amanda. Nobody cares. There's those 5 guys. No one cared when you were in Hunger Games. No one cared when you were in other stuff. No one cares about your skin. No one cares. And you have a white dad. No one cares about your stupid skin color. Like, these people are so weird. How insecure are you? And she's a Nepo baby. For sure, her dad's very well connected. Contrasting the cast perspectives, Disney Entertainment co-chair Alan Bergman provided a blunt explanation for the cancellation of The Acolyte. Yeah, we know this. Given the cost structure of that title, quite frankly, to go and make season 2, they're not doing it. Will The Acolyte get a second season? No! Are you curious about what Leslye Headland had? No! Sound off in the comments. Leslye. Again, they stole Darth Venomous. It was going to be a lot of the similar stuff that we saw in the EU. And then just twisting it and manipulating it to the way they want, just like they did in the Ahsoka show with Thrawn. And they just take stuff and twist it around and make it crappy. And then throw in a big old pile of trying to influence social issues. And then people go, we don't want this because we just want to watch Star Wars. Have a nice day. We're going to cancel our Disney Plus account. And that's what's happening. Sorry. That's what's happening. So anyways, guys, I can't believe that she was writing the first season thinking there'd be 2 more after that, and the way it ended and everything else and how bad it is. I think you got to be pretty. She must have been pretty bloody sure of herself. Like, she really thought people were going to buy into the Virgins in the Force before Anakin and turning Ki-Adi-Mundi and Yoda into lying sacks of crap in the Phantom Menace. And we were just gonna buy into it all, and her stealing stuff from the EU, twisting it around. We were gonna buy into the Jedi and how incompetent and crappy they were, stupid they are, and lying and stuff. Like, she actually thought people were like, woo! And she claims to be this big Star Wars fan. You're like, I don't think you were. And I'm still waiting for her. She said that when she was a kid, she made little stop motion Star Wars videos because she was such a huge fan of Star Wars. I'd like to see those. I'd like to see those receipts because I don't think anyone who's a fan of Star Wars could have possibly made this show thinking that fans of Star Wars were going to appreciate it. I don't know how that's possible. So anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like, subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.